If you and I deny the death that is happening and put our faces in the sand and continue our tribal, selfish way of living, we will die out and destroy the world and take nature with us. But if we take the challenge of this explosion of our selfishness, of this nightmare that we have manifested out of our ego, and look at it and say, we can no longer live like this, we will no longer live like this, we will choose the divine within, and we will harness the energies of love, then you and I can birth this third fire of sacred activism in this world, and we can turn up in our lives as sacred activists, and we can become the instruments of a massive transformation which can turn this tremendous disaster into the birthing ground of a new world. So I'm going to end my quiet and restrained English presentation to you. I never go back to England, of course, because now I've been living in America. I've let this being out. So, so not even the Queen could have me put it back into me again, although she might try. I just want to end with giving you a very practical way of how you can do this, because it's all very well to sit and listen to somebody try and pour golden water revision over you, but it means nothing until you can see your way as to how to put it into practice in the core of your life. And there is a very simple way. And that is to combine 5 kinds of service in the core of your life. One of the reasons I am so grateful to be standing in this pulpit is that I know you come from a church which takes enormously seriously service on so many levels. And I congratulate you for that, because there are so many people claiming to represent religion who are just on a private journey of self-enrichment or illumination. And to me, those journeys are now pointless, if not obscene. So I'm very grateful that you take so seriously the giving of money and the helping of others. But if you combine these 5 kinds of service that I'm going to stress to you in the core of your life, you will find over time that they will birth in you an extraordinary new level of focus, an extraordinary level of commitment, and an extraordinary new level of energy. And that commitment, focus, and energy is what all of us are going to need, because all of us in this time are threatened by denial, paralysis, despair, disillusion. The first kind of service is the service to the divine by whatever way you know the divine, in adoration and thanksgiving and gratitude. And you will find if you serve God or the divine or the beloved in this way, what will happen is that your opening of your whole being to the divine will enable the divine to start guiding you through books and dreams and meetings with extraordinary people in ways that will fill you with joy and energy and wisdom, and help you steer your life. The second kind of service that is essential is to serve yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but as an instrument of the divine will. If you look at yourself as a flute that is waiting to play by God, then your duty is to clean the instrument, to take out the mud from the different holes of the flute, so that the music that you were meant to play can really sound in you. And that means doing 4 kinds of real work in the core of your life. Having a down-home, intelligent, spiritual practice that keeps you aligned with God. Doing serious psychological work on yourself as often as possible, so as to keep your ego and shadow out of the picture as often as possible. Having a serious attitude to your health, because as we destroy the immune system of our world, so all of our immune systems become impaired. And that also means having a sacred body practice that can enable you to really enter into your body with sacred power and fill it with the energy of the divine. So if you serve yourself in this ways, if you look after yourself with a serious practice, a serious psychological practice, a serious health practice, and a serious body practice, then you'll find that the pain of the world, the heartbreak of the world, the menace of this crisis will not exhaust you, because you will have the resources to come to it with energy and passion and joy. I had emergency surgery 2 weeks ago, and I'm tottering, my stomach, my gallbladder exploded, but the person you see before you is not an exhausted person, although he's clinging rather operatically to the pulpit, is somebody who has really tried to do this work so that the energy, even if I'm physically weak, can always come through. The third kind of service is to realize that you are a divine being in a divine world, and everybody in this world is worthy of honor and cherishing and respect. And to serve all beings that you meet with honor and respect. And I find that it's especially important in a time like this, when we are the Gauleiters of a massive concentration camp of animals, to turn to the animal world and start respecting these holy creatures with whom we share our lives. The fourth kind of service is to think globally, to be aware of this massive crisis, to understand that it's going on, to know that there is a birth trying to take place, but to act locally in your local situation, in your local community. There are an awful lot of people with wonderful big thoughts, but who aren't really willing to do the real work in terms of their real world. So what I say to you is, my friends, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning someday soon. Sit on your bed, surround yourself by the peace of God, and ask yourself one very strong question. Ask yourself, what of all of the causes that are now burning in the burning world, what of all of these causes breaks my heart the most? Ask that question to yourself, and you'll discover what you can most passionately do in your local community. For example, when I asked that question to myself, I discovered that although I'm very passionate about the environment, about women's rights, about gay rights, about all sorts of things, what really shatters my heart is the plight of animals. The horror that we do to animals, the madness of what we inflict on animals, the unbelievable suffering that we take for granted and we feel entitled to impose on animals. This, to me, is the most terrifying side of our nature, and one that doesn't bode well for us unless we transform it. So in the last years, I've been working with all kinds of animal rights groups, and I now work with the white lions to protect them in South Africa, which is where I was when my gallbladder exploded. And I have devoted my voice to the voiceless because I feel so passionately about it, and I have endless energy to do it because I love animals that much, and I'm that heartbroken. So what is your heartbreak? What is your heartbreak, sir? What is your heartbreak? What is your heartbreak? Ask yourself that question, and you'll find the cause that you'll always have the energy to go on fighting for. The fifth kind of service is the service as a global citizen, realizing that as the member of the most powerful country on earth, you and I have a responsibility to bring all of our actions congruent to the possibilities of this birth, to really scrutinize what we invest in, to really vote for people who will actually admit that global warming is going on, and to really start putting in policies that can protect the world. I want to end with a vision of how you can actually mobilize your heartbreak.